Hi everyone. Welcome to this podcast. My name is Joel, and today we'll be discussing helping girls and youth with disabilities into decent work. And today I'll be hosting a wonderful person, Folashade. You're welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yes. So, as we know, it's always difficult for young girls and youth with disabilities to access decent work. And today we'll be talking with Folashade, who is an advocate for women and youth with disabilities. And we're looking at how we would like to know your opinion. We want to know your take on how we can see that the workplace is both accessible but also accommodative for young girls and youth with disabilities. So are we ready to go on?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I'll take it out with the first question. So what do you believe decent work must include for girls and youth with disabilities?
Okay, that's a very interesting question. I believe decent work for women and youth generally with disabilities should include equality, should involve equality, involve inclusion, and also accessibility. Equality in the area that there's a need for women to have equal opportunities with men.
Okay.
Yeah, so pay should not be based on gender.
Okay.
Access should not be based on gender.
Okay.
What are you able to deliver? If a woman is very effective in her work, then definitely she should have what the men have. I mean, it's not a privilege, it's a right.
Mm-hmm.
Now for inclusion, that's inclusion for persons with disability, young women, and generally all young persons with disability. It's very important that they are included, particularly in the workplace. From Nigeria, where I come from, it's currently like a crisis. You know, the job opportunities are not so much for the regular youth.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a youth with disability, that's like being in a crisis, but then another crisis is rising up. So that's like a crisis within a crisis.
A crisis within a crisis.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and you know, oftentimes these employers don't give access to them. Mm-hmm. So I think we should prioritize inclusion of persons with disabilities in the workplace, to not to measure by disability, but by capacity. Actually seeing what they can deliver, and of course they can deliver.
Okay.
Yeah. And lastly, accessibility, giving access to an environment that they are able to move in and out from, access to assistive technologies,
Okay.
The sign language interpretation, text to speech, and other things that work. Yeah, that's it.
I think you've given us very good points. I just want to take it on from where you talked about inclusion versus equality. So, in your opinion, do you think that programs now get it wrong in terms of seeing that we have a balance between inclusion and equality in the same sense?
No, I don't think that it's effective.
Okay.
I wouldn't say there are no programs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yes, we definitely have programs ongoing, but it's the level of effectiveness that now actually matters. So it's not so effective. In the area of policy implementation, because when we're talking about youth and decent work, it's more of a matter of policy implementation now.
Okay.
So I think there is a weak level of policy implementation, particularly in my country and the context of where I live.
Okay.
You know, about 5% is allocated for 5% work opportunity allocated for persons with disability in every workplace is based on policy set by Nigerian government.
Okay, so it's actually there. It's a policy. It's there.
It's a policy, but it's not
implemented.
Yes, it's not well implemented. It's not effective.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your argument is that it's not about the program itself, in terms of the ability for it to make provision for it. It's actually the implementers that then are at fault. Is that so?
Yeah, I want to rephrase it.
So
it's not about the program. It's about the effectiveness of the program.
The effectiveness of
the
program. Okay. All right. So okay, that's interesting, and I think I want to ask you another question just on the same thing. So in this remaining quarter, what do you think would be that one thing that you would advocate for employers to do based on what you just shared with us?
That's to involve reasonable accommodation in their employment, the packages. If and when they decide to, consider persons with disabilities, I say consider because, it's scarce, it's really scarce. So when that is in place, it's important to give reasonable accommodation. That means setting structures that modifying the structure, work structure in such a way that it favors the person. It makes them work effectively without any hindrance. It gives them accessibility. So that's one thing I think should be put in place, reasonable accommodation.
Okay. Do you have a particular story, an experience where this became, it was tried and then, the employers were like, maybe this will work. And then after it was done, they were like, yes, definitely this has to be in place. Do you have a story in that sense?
Yes, I do have a story. And I once worked with the line manager who was like my lead, and he recognizes as a person with disability. So the interesting thing was that, we saw, or the way we see him, is an exceptional person, excellent leadership and effective communication, always trying to get everyone moving and developing. And I think when he first came in, there was this reasonable accommodation. The good thing was where I was working then, there are structures in place for disability inclusion and the like. So instead of a 9 to 5 days in a week, he had the privilege of working. No, he had the opportunity, or was given. He was given that provision to come in 3 days in a week, 9 to 5. Then the other 2 days in the week, he can be at home, working remotely for the remaining 2 days. So, this kind of strike a balance in, helping him to stay healthy and to rest well and just work more effectively. So 3 days in the office, 2 days at home. That was the provision that's set in place. And, he's an exceptional person, good leadership. And, what we saw, what I experienced working with him was just a good leader. So it's not about disability, it's about the person, not the disability. Yeah.
So you overlook the disability or whatever complication they have, but focus on their results.
Yes.
And that is a good story. I think. Thank you for that. So I feel like I already know the answer to this question based on what you've shared, but I'll ask anyway. So if you're talking to a young person, maybe listening there or watching us, or a person with a disability, and you're advising them about a job to take, what would be some of, maybe just mention 2 things that they would have to look out for them to take the job or not to take it?
Okay, so I will start with the new one so you don't make reference to the last one.
Are
they welcoming? Is the organization welcoming? Because as humans, there's this sense of belonging that we want to feel. And when you have that, you can tell, sometimes you can tell from the interview stage, the way they talk to you, the way they make things very, easy for you. So because of that sense of belonging, it's very important that you're welcome where you're going to. There is no pressure and there is no discrimination on site already. That's the very first thing. And then second thing will be the reasonable accommodation. So you have to inquire. I believe they should actually ask you. You don't have to inquire. So it's something that is expected of them to ask, what are the things that you feel would make you work better and easier? How can we help you to work more productively? What best things you think can implement to make your work go smooth without causing any complications for you? Yeah, so those 2 things.
Thanks for that. So now, in your opinion, how do you think then we can promote the inclusion of marginalized groups? We've already talked about some of the ways, but maybe just making them more out there so that we can have well-documented evidence that this is actually what an advocacy leader thinks.
Okay, so there are actually many ways, and I think I should just focus on a few. And one of it would be advocacy. And we cannot achieve advocacy without building an understanding in the minds of the community. So community orientation is actually very important. They need to have an understanding of what disability is, have an understanding of what inclusion is, and how that we are creating a safe space, we are creating a better living environment for everyone when we allow everyone to be in the same space, and we ensure that no one is left behind. So I believe if generally as a community we have that understanding, it makes it easier for persons with disability to live. Because I mean, I've been in this space for a few years now, and I see that it can be very complicated sometimes to go about daily living. So if we are all on the same page, we would be committed to making life easier, navigating daily activities easier for these persons.
Okay.
Yeah. And social media advocacy is a good one.
Okay.
You know, you can use your social media page. It's actually a very powerful tool in this age. And TikTok is there, the ones that we the youth like to use.
Yes.
TikTok is there,
Yeah.
Instagram is there, what other platforms? Twitter is there, and you know, just talk about it, share something about it, share a video, share your opinion, just focus on helping people to embrace inclusion of everyone.
Okay.
Yeah. And also in workplaces, you know, there can be training, there can be sensitization workshops in workplaces, helping people to understand that attitude matter and participation matter. They have to be carried along. So one person does not discriminate against the other person. Yeah.
Okay. So we talked about advocacy and we've talked about workplace sensitization. So can you point to like any program in the workplace that you think like a sensitization, maybe is it a sensitization workshop, or I know this is a bit it's new. I know you didn't see it coming because of the line of conversation, but I just thought as you told, when you talked about advocacy and you highlighted social media, like okay, this is good for especially for the communities, right? But now we are looking at when we have an employer, we're talking maybe that like decent workplace. Okay. So like think of a corporate organization, and what kind of sensitization program do you think would be effective in?
All right. So workplaces, I believe they often have training programs for their employees. It could be maybe quarterly or maybe monthly, once in a month. Okay. So one of those classes, or maybe EI, emotional intelligence, it can be, you know, disability inclusion practice. Okay. That could be the topic, and you know, they could have someone come in, maybe a specialist or someone who was in the sector, come in and you know, break it down, building an understanding for them, helping them to learn how to make the workplace nice and you know, accommodating to persons with disability, and why it is important, and most importantly, what the global you know, the global space would lose if persons with disabilities are not involved in activities. You know, currently by 2050, 1 in 3 young persons will be African, and that includes persons with disability. Now imagine if we don't develop their potential, so don't give them a, you know, give avenue to explore, to be themselves, to be bright. What are we losing out on? We're losing out on a lot of value. Okay. They have value to give. So it's all about building an understanding. Okay. So because understanding precedes empathy. You cannot empathize with what you don't understand. So it's like we are going to, in that way, to be touching the basis of what inclusion is, and why it's very important. Okay. That is what such structures should involve.
Yeah, thank you. I think that's very, very that's a very good insights that you've given us there. So now I'm going to give you four topics, and as we finalize, just tell me if you think this is underrated or overrated. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so 1, unpaid internships.
The young person in me wants to say it's overrated, but I don't think it's overrated. Okay. I think it's underrated.
It's underrated.
Yeah, because myself, I've had that avenue that I had to do on paid internship, and it helped me become who I am today. Okay. I learned a lot. So it's more about development than it is about money.
Okay.
Especially in early career phase.
Okay, so that's underrated. Okay, 2, Short paid trials.
I think it's overrated.
It's what? Overrated?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just employ me if you want to employ me.
Okay. Okay, that's a good one. So how about transport and childcare stipends?
That's very important. So it's underrated.
It's underrated.
Yeah, child care.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a child, so it's important that we provide what children need, and also transport is also very important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So finally, employer disability training.
That's very important. I mean, that's what we've been talking about. It's underrated.
It's
Sorry.
underrated. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Folashade, for taking the time to be here with us today.
Thank you.
And thank you all for watching. I think I will not add anything more to what the experts in the field have said. So we'll look forward to being with you the next time. All right. Bye for now.